everyone, I'm Charmaine from CDM Handmade. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm here to show you a couple of the techniques that I use in my cabled messy bun bow hat that I've provided for free on my blog, cdmhandmade.com. A couple people have told me that they're struggling a little bit with the cable, so I thought I'd do a quick video tutorial to show you how I do that. This is obviously not a hat. I've just done a quick row of double crochets and I'm going to do it in the round to show you the technique. So at the beginning of the row it asks you to chain 2, and I've done that, and then it asks you to do 2 double crochet front posts. So here's the post of my first double crochet, and I'm going to do that. There's 1, and there's my next post, and there's 2, and the next stitch it asks for is a simple half double crochet. So there is the both loops of the stitch of the next stitch, and I do my half double crochet, and then it begins the cable. The cable is where a lot of people get mixed up, and it asks you to skip 2 stitches and put two double crochet front posts in the following 2 stitches. So here's 1 stitch and 2 stitch. So this is the stitch that we're going to do our next double crochet front post in. So here is 1 double crochet front post and 2 double crochet front post. And this is the tricky part. So here's those 2 stitches that I skipped. We need to go back and do those 2 stitches, but we need to go behind these stitches. So it kind of helps if you kind of turn your work a little bit and look at it from the top, because then you can see those stitches. So you almost turn your hook in a backwards direction, going behind those 2 stitches you just did. So you see I've got them underneath and then pointing forward again. Here's my first skip stitch. I'm going to go under that post, but then I need to go back underneath these first two stitches. And that could be a little bit tricky. There it is. There's my 2 stitches and there's the hole. And then you do your double crochet front post, and that's number 1. Okay, it looks a little jumbled, I understand, but this is really going to work, I promise. So let's do our second skip stitch. Again, behind these stitches, we go behind, we find that second skipped. It's almost directly behind those stitches now. It's really tough to see. There I've put it through, and then I have to go back out of those first 2 stitches and do my double crochet front post. So now those stitches, though it looks like a little bit of a jumbled mess, those are crossed stitches, and that's what forms our cable. So the next, it asks you to carry on with a half double crochet, and then it repeats the pattern. So I'm just going to quickly finish this up, and then we'll go on to the next row so you can see where those stitches lie after you've done the cable cross. Alright, here we are at the beginning of our next row. You see we have our 2 double crochet front posts and the beginning of your first cable. So the next row is very similar, but there's no crossing. So we're going to do our straight double crochet front posts, 1 and then 2. There's our half double crochet in the next stitch, whoops, right there. And then we do these next double crochet front posts in the order that they were stitched, not in the order that they necessarily lay. So here's our next stitch. You'll see that's a little bit long because of the pulling over from the skip stitches. There's the first post of our first double crochet front post. Do that one and then do the next one. And then this is a bit of a tricky part because those ones that went behind those stitches initially are a little bit hidden, so they're a little bit tricky to find. You have to kind of push these aside. There's our first one, kind of stuck in behind. Do your double crochet front post, and there's our second one right there. Oops, as I drop my stitches. Let's do that one more time. So now you see that you have the cross. So these are the first stitches that we did to cross. We had to go behind them to pull the stitches to this side, and then on our next row we continue them upwards and you can see them crossing. I'm going to carry on to the end of the row so you can watch and see how it continues a second time. So there you have it. You have a complete row of cables. I apologize, I should have made my sample a little bit bigger, but hopefully it's big enough that you can see that these are the straight posts that go all the way up the sides of the hat. This is the flat part in between, and then this is your crossed cable. The next row up is exactly the same as this row, just the straight double crochet front posts, and then we begin the cycle again with the crossed cables. So I hope this helped you with the pattern, and I'd love to see any creations that you make with the cabled messy bun hat with the bow. Thanks for tuning in.